welcome everybody. Cousin Central Podcast This is episode 6. Thank you for sticking around for these last five, now 6 episodes of the Cousin Central Podcast. I am Lyle, that's Tyler. And to kick things off, I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite snack? What is your go-to snack that you like to
So it could be like seen as like an appetizer type of thing as well. But my two go to snacks are mozzarella sticks and soft pretzels. I tend to be more of like a salty guy. I'm a salty snack, so that's where I go towards. Um, and I feel like I'm a represent us big backs in this take, but I'm sure you'll have like a healthier snack for the people. But yeah, those are my two go to. And then if I do like a chip, it'll be there's like a local company out in Pennsylvania here that's Middlesworth, and they make a good barbecue chip that has like some nice heat to it. But it tastes like more real, like a more home cooked potato chip compared to like a Lay's or something like that. Other than that, like if I do go healthy, which I do, I like like those little clementines and apples and stuff like that. Like those are my two go to for like fruits and whatnot. But what about you, man? I know you probably have a good one for us.
have? Yeah, I love granola. I'm a big granola person. I had too much granola, so I have like almost some stomach problems right now. But other than that, I like my granola. I like to have with my yogurt. You can put on a smoothie, so more versatile. Right here in Maryland, we have Michelle's granola, which is a woman run and owned granola. My girlfriend Erica put me on it, so she put me on that. Muesli, the one that's like loose granola. It's really delicious. It's good. It has all like seeds, has grains, has nuts, has all the stuff that makes you feel good and stay good. So I always, just a snack on it, put something else on to give a little flavoring. I'm all about it. So, and I do like pretzels. I do like other stuff as well. So I think I'm always like eating healthy all the time. I like date bars. Date bars are very underrated. So if you could find a date bar, there's an apple pie date bar from Target, delicious.
Oh, I
There's also
never had that.
chocolate chip cookie dough one. Well, date bars are good. They're really good. They're very underrated.
I'll try to
Sweet too,
find.
and not just sweet.
Another thing I like to go to, especially as like a meal replacement almost, is that for us, lactose intolerant people out there, Fairlife makes a protein shake that just like tastes like a chocolate milkshake, and again, it's kind of like a meal replacement, so you could just like have it as your breakfast or lunch or something like that. I like that one as well, but yeah, uh, we're snackers over here. We're the big back house. It's funny because me and Haiti like are the house that we've always said we want to be the house that when people come over, they're like they got the snacks and they got the good stuff. So I think I think we've become that, and I'm pretty proud of that.
Do you have peanut butter filled pretzels?
No, sometimes we do. We like Reese's started making them. I think like the chocolate covered, but with peanut butter as well. But I have seen those in BJ's, and I've thought about picking them up a few times.
Yeah, those are deadly. They're really good.
Yeah, yeah. I like she even started making like chocolate covered pretzels herself. So I do like the salty sweet mix sometimes as well.
Hmm.
All right. So for our first topic, where do you want to lead us today?
We go a lot of different paths. There's a lot happening right now. That needs to be discussed. So I guess we'll start. I want to start with the hot button topic at this point. I'm going to go to Gaza and Palestine, if you don't mind us taking our trip to the Middle East at this point, because that's a big topic that has not been resolved yet. It's probably not going to be resolved anytime soon. What's that? You want to head there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's take a trip down to the Gaza Strip. So we noticed that a lot of countries are aligning with certain sides, certain people. There has been a plan out there proposed by Europe to back Gaza and the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. France, Germany, Italy, and UK in particular support the Arab plan for Gaza reconstruction. It's estimated $53 billion towards the effort as of March 8th, 2025. And we noticed that that's against like the Israel kind of overall inhabitants of that area. So that kind of combats that ideology. Uh, as we know, the United States is not backing that. They reject it along with the USA. They're rejecting that plan. Currently, USA is still backing Israel, and the plan is made to address the issue of people that are living there currently, and they want to make sure that reconstruction can be done for these people that are displaced. There's some terms I want to make sure we go over so that uh, we're being very broad and very open with the dialogue. And Hamas. Hamas is something we heard a lot about. I'm sure you heard about it. I'm sure we all heard about it in the news. Um, it's a committed group to arm resistance against Israel and to the creation of Palestine state. And the group has engaged in several rounds of violent conflict with Israel. They're basically like they're countered as a terrorist group. So they're countered as. And their most biggest attack, recently began on October 7th, 2023. They launched a massive attack against Israel, killing nearly 1,200 people. And the 1,200 people were Palestinians too. They're Palestinians, so they killed totally their own people as well. So there's both sides. So and then the goal of the Arabs. So I'm just going to specify this too. I mean, there's a lot of terminology. We talk about foreign policy and foreign politics that we have to be better aware of. I have to be aware of too. We're calling the Arab League. The Arab League wants stability in the area. These are 22 countries, including Algeria, Bahrain, Ghouta, Egypt, Iraq, and others. I'm not going to say them all because there's a lot. 22 of them. They're looking for more stability and more like an organization, kind of like NATO. They're like a NATO. So stability, that's key. Everybody wants stability. Everybody wants something that's going to be seen as something positive that's going to happen in the area. And just trying to emphasize that, people live here. We're not trying to move them out. And so my question to you, Ty, what's your thoughts about Hamas and the Gaza Strip, along with the United States siding with more of the Israel side and the Palestinians at this point?
Right. Yeah, I think it's a complicated situation because this kind of dates back to just what's it called, like back when Christ was around, right? Like this has been a war that's been fought since then, and about whose land is whose and who's entitled to what, right? So I think it's very interesting that other countries get involved in kind of their conflict. As far as our United States inclusion on it, it's kind of skewed because I feel like we are gonna side with the country that provides us more, whether it's resources or just money in general. And we know that United States and Israel are close partners when it comes to trading and money and stuff like that. They make us a lot of money, we make them a lot of money. So I felt like no matter who was in office, that was going to be the kind of the tone of the relationship when it comes to U.S., Palestine, and Israel's that we were always going to side with Israel. Um, but yeah, I just feel like there should be a way for them to coexist without war and without fighting over land, um, and without displacing people and harming people and killing people. I wish it could just come to an end and it just be um, that like I said, that everyone does coexist. Saying like the Hamas part of it is interesting as well because I feel like people are trying to lump in Palestinians with Hamas, and it's like it's basically as if you were saying like Back in the day, all Germans were Nazis, and it's like, well, come on, man. Like you can't group in a whole bunch of you can't group in the whole country and its people for just a select group of people. You know what I mean? Like it's like again, it's like saying all Americans were part of the KKK or something like that. Like those are the extreme radical ideologies of those groups, and it's not a reflection of the whole country or its people. And I think that's what a lot of people get mixed up is that Palestinians are somehow lumped in with Hamas and they're part of it and whatnot. And it's stretched. I think that narrative has stretched all the way back to us in this country because you're kind of seen in a certain light if you take a stance against Israel and if you're at these college campuses having peaceful protests in support of Palestine. They kind of label you as a nut or liberal or anti Semitic is another, very popular term that's used. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think when you dig deeper, you just want people to be able to live without their land being fought for, without their lives being included in that, and their family and friends' lives. Um, so I think it's become like an unfortunate topic because of that, and like I said, the way you're perceived based on a stance, um, and then the ramifications of that, like people that have come out, even celebrities that have come out in support of Palestine, um, they've tried to mess with in a way with their career by labeling certain things or just not hiring them for jobs no more. And I feel like it's just a bad tone to set because you're basically saying you have to support this or else. So I feel like that whole situation, um, they kind of have to figure it out between Palestine and Israel, but I feel like they have to figure it out peacefully. And if we are getting involved and other countries are getting involved, like they are, that it should be handled peacefully and not supporting one side or the other uh, in their attacks to overtake the land. But like, what are some of your personal feelings? I'm interested in hearing your perspective on it as well.
Yeah, so it's a catch-all, and I agree with your statement about the whole idea about Nazi Germany. We can't assume a small second group of people that are bad and then the whole egg's bad. Can't have a round bunch. So it's hard to define right and wrong, like who was there first, the chicken or the egg conversation. We can't have that conversation because nobody was alive during that time to actually have that conversation with the people that were there. So it's very hard to define that. But I think denying people a right to live somewhere is kind of, to me, just speaking on past history and past experience, especially for people that come from a Jewish heritage, not siding with either side at all, but they were displaced a lot and they didn't have a land. So it's kind of ironic you're displacing people that don't have a, that have a land, but you displace them because technically you said that's your land. So it's kind of like ironic that the people who want to displace people have been displaced all their lives too. It's like you're doing something to you don't like do unto others they don't do unto others they don't want to do unto yourself. And they're kind of doing that, which is very unfortunate considering that the Arab plan right here currently is just supporting not the relocation of anybody that's Jewish in Israel, it's just supporting people to rebuild and to more suitable environment for the Palestinians. So I don't see anything wrong with this. I don't, but everybody has their own opinion. Everybody's not there's nobody wrong or right, so it's very hard. So we're trying to find a middle way of like be consolidated of what's happening here. So I think both sides, you gotta make sure that you could compromise somehow, and yeah, just gotta compromise. become buddy buddy somehow. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but something's gonna happen.
Yeah, it does feel like at some point soon, like something has to shake, like something has to come out of this one way or another. Hopefully for the good, for everyone's sake. But it just feels like, again, it's been something that's been fought over for thousands of years now. So it's like, how are we gonna end this peacefully? Um, so a topic that I got to really researching or just looking at in general um, is the overall being of Elon Musk. So we've been kind of discussing him for a while in these episodes now. Like he's been kind of a steady topic, a steady figure in our discussions, just because of his involvement in the government and whatnot. Um, but man, this guy, this guy had a hell of a week since we last talked. The first thing that happened was last Thursday. His Starship rocket had a crash landing, and it's not the first time that's happened. There was another one just a few months ago that had a similar occurrence, that's what I saw too. Is like his succession rate with these rockets have been like near 50%. So he has all these plans, to go to outer space with these rockets and whatnot, but there's still a long, long way to go with the science behind them because a 50% success rate is not good enough to send people, real living people, to Mars or wherever the heck he wants to do with that. Some of the things he does are, is kind of impressive. It's not him doing it. He's just the name. Um, like I don't know if you saw when they caught the rocket that landed, they had like an arm that actually like caught it. And I thought that was kind of cool that they were able to do that. Um, Another thing that happened, kind of both Monday and Tuesday, was X got attacked. Had a cyber attack. Um, Musk kind of said it was like a DDoS attack, which basically is, for people that don't know, um, you kind of send so much traffic. Hackers will send so much traffic to a site that it crashes it. Um, and then other people are saying that that's like not possible for a company so big and a technique that's so outdated. Um, I've studied cybersecurity a little bit, so I would say it's not something that's outdated. It's something that's still very much used. But the part about it being like too big of a company for that to happen is on point. Um, for something as big as X and for someone who has so much money that runs it, that should not be happening. They should definitely have better protection and whatnot. And then to kind of coincide with his misfortunes and all these things is that the Tesla stock crashed 15% on Monday. So that wiped out all of his positive gains since election day. So yeah, his stock was rising, and then with all this, happening and whatnot, the Tesla stock did crash back to where it originally was. Um, some people are citing like concerns in Europe with sales and whatnot, and I think that that's definitely part of the case because, um, just like yesterday, they had like three or four different Tesla vehicles outside of the White House, and Trump was like, "Oh, I'm buying a Tesla," and now everyone in the government's like, "Oh, I'm buying a Tesla." Just because he's supporting their party now, they want to show their support back. But I think it's kind of dumb to. It's a dumb business model to play to one side, because then you're leaving out the other half of the country that's now not going to buy your vehicle. So they're going to be looking at other car brands to get an electric vehicle from. So again, business perspective, business wise, it wasn't a smart move for him to kind of include himself into this. Um, but yeah, I know you have interesting thoughts about Musk in general, but what'd you what'd you think about his week here?
Um, his the cards are not falling in his favor. It seems like if he goes to Vegas, I know he likes to bet. He's a gambler person, and I think if I'm not mistaken about Elon, he likes to gamble, and be a little risque. You know, that's his nature because he has not mistaken Asperger's, which is a form of autism. So he has ways to just channel his being and the way he is as a person. Yeah, he didn't have a good week, and I think it's gonna happen. So I can't really fault anything for that. And like, yeah, you're gonna have shit weeks, and that's gonna happen. He's a person, so yeah, it's like I think people feel good about it because it's Elon, and Elon's definitely like public enemy, Lord, enemy number one at this point. So that's been, make people for clapping like, oh yeah, you deserve that because all this DOGE shit you've been doing is coming back to you. Sorry for the cuss.
Yeah, you're
So I
good.
think that's
Yeah,
been
I
the issue with that.
yeah, I think part of it too is like he's now been put up on like this pedestal that he's some kind of like hero that's not part of the government. He's not a politician, and he's making things happen for us. And part of that like pedestalness is that I I saw that Trump wants to make it like crime to vandalize his vehicles now. So like if you vandalize a Tesla, he wants to make it a crime, and I believe he wants to make it like a hate crime. And again, it just goes to show the favoritism and just like the feelings that he has for Musk and his inclusion in the government. It just we've talked about it. That just feels off. It feels wrong. So yeah, I just think, like you said, it's kind of all those things coming together and people being like, well, he got his. So where do you want to take us to next?
Hmm, let's go on an adventure. I want to take us to little bit of a light story, so it's gonna be a little light, y'all. I like this story because it's kind of fun. Uh, the Swiss police rescued two dogs. They were a big ransom. So supposedly these dogs were kidnapped. Two Belunke dogs. Saying that right? The ransom was $1 million Swiss francs. So the dog was stolen over a man of 59 years old. He really loved these dogs, and eventually someone was arrested that suspected of uh, thieving them. Eventually, so they were safely returned to his owner. I don't know who got the money. Who knows? It was the government, so maybe they got the million, or these cops. I thought it was a fun story. Like it's one of those stories like, oh, that's interesting. That's a little different. And it made me think about a question and kind of where you take on this. What would you put a big ransom on if it was stolen?
Man, are we like leaving like people out of it?
Yeah, we'll leave people. We'll leave human trafficking out of this.
Yeah, we'll we'll
Let's be
we'll
safe.
leave we'll
Do
leave
that.
human and dog kidnapping out of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Man,
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like they're like I don't have anything. I feel like I would be able to like I wouldn't be able to live without. Like, there's nothing I'd be like I have to put $1 million on this, but I don't know. Like, probably like my room here, like this stuff in my room, like between some of my memorabilia that I have that's signed and whatnot, and like my PlayStation and stuff like that. But yeah, I would have to think about that more because there's nothing, like I said, that I would put a nothing that crazy I would put a reward on off the top of my head. Maybe you could give me an answer, and I'll try to think about it in the meantime.
Hmm. I'll give you an answer, huh? I guess I'll probably have to say maybe sentimental things. So anything sentimental to me that somebody gave me means a lot. So I'm wearing a couple of them right now. So it's fortunate. So my parents gave me this necklace. It eventually broke and I ended it again. So this is very important. Definitely pay someone money if they could find it because I lost it several times at different occasions in my life. So that means a lot to me because the people gave it to me, and then this watch was given to me by Erica. This would mean a lot to me if like it was stolen or something happened to it. Those things are like priceless because they it means something to me. It's not just about the object, but it's about who gave me the object. That means a lot. So I hope that helps you about thinking about something now.
Yeah, it does help a little bit because there was a time Haiti thought she lost her engagement ring, and in that moment I was like, I would, it's gone. Like I would do whatever to get it back, but like it's gone, right? Like we thought she lost it in a Walmart or something. I'm like, yeah, someone definitely just took that and profited off it one way or another. But I was like, obviously it's the moment, it's the ring and everything. So I'm like, I, I hope we find it, right? And I did. Luckily, it was in the house. But yeah, that was a moment. Now that you say that, that's definitely something that is kind of like priceless in a way. And yeah, that would definitely be my answer. I think it's her engagement ring, just because that one moment where we thought it was gone, it sent like panic through both of us. So I think that would be my answer. But so yeah, that's a good one. I like discussions like that. I think again, if you want to comment and whatnot, but if you guys want us to have discussions like that, we're open to kind of open ended topics like that. But yeah, man, what you got for us next? Cause let me tell you, dude, my week was like so swamped that I barely had any time to really look at the news this week and throw up some topics. So I think this is an episode where Lyle's gonna be the big man leading the way for us on this episode.
Yeah, big man leading the way. It's an inside joke. Uh, I sure everybody in our family knows that joke, but
Yep.
yeah. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna talk about let's go back political because that was a good fun little break from being political a little bit, and I think it has a lot to do with like current instability in the government about Speaker Mike Johnson trying to prevent a government shutdown. Can you get more of an American name than Mike Johnson? Like really, you can't get more of an American name than Mike Johnson.
The
Mike
only
and then Johnson. Like
the only
perfect.
thing that could be more is like Smith. I think Smith as the last
Oh,
name maybe is it. That's the only way though.
I mean, if it was John Michael Smith, man, you gotta brand him with the American flag on his back because at that point he's Mr. America.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, so he Mr. America here um, wants to prevent the government shutting down again. He has a bill that's presented to the House. He's the House Speaker, of course. He's Speaker of the House. That'll have the funding to stop gap bill aimed to prevent a shutdown on March 14th, which is this Friday, and plans to run it through September 30th. President Trump supports the bill and mostly preserves like funding levels from Biden administration. There's a 99-page bill on Tuesday, so it puts the pressure on the Senate and Democrats to approve it. So it's like, okay, so the last minute is like a 100-page bill, a lot of fine lines. You remember, you always got to read the details to your contract or anything you're given. So that's also important to understand. He characterized the cleaning up. He characterized it as like we're cleaning up what's going on happening, kind of like the Doge cuts. We're cleaning up America. We're getting rid of stuff we don't need. And it's supposed to allocate $892.5 billion for defense spending and sometimes 8 billion for non-defense spending, which is 8% lower than last year. So that's kind of interesting how we're funding the money. We're funding it more to defend ourselves against who and to cut down against non-defense spending for America. So I think that's to me like a very high moment of like, okay, this is where you're putting your money towards. This is what's happening. And we're getting perspectives from the left and the right here, so it's like a little mix about it. So this is information, which I like. Trump supports the bill. he wants it to be passed, and this will prevent a government shutdown, considering they had to fund different programs. So, uh, yeah, so that kind of is a very interesting with the money being spent towards defense spending, as that keeps steady and everything else takes a dip. So, yeah, what is your take on that? Why do you think America likes to keep spending money on defense?
It is interesting, right? Like I don't know what they are preparing for. Because at this point, that's what kind of feels like like they're. It's not so much preventative action. It feels more like a preparedness action. Um, I think they're getting ready for if anything really goes sideways between whether it's the Middle East, which we obviously just discussed, or it's Russia and Ukraine really not getting settled, or if it's China or North Korea. It just feels like they're getting ready for something they're not telling us, or they could just be looking to take over, some more land and trying to get the resources out of those lands. I don't really know because this whole thing about him trying to like expand America. Maybe that's part of it. I know he was like trying to have Greenland a part of America. Like he was trying to acquire Greenland. So I don't know if he plans on hiring people, you know, bringing in more troops to take over that part and defend Greenland. I really don't know what is happening with this. I really don't know why they're getting so prepared. They'll probably never tell us. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have any idea of why, like, they would be getting prepared? Is that even how you feel, or do you feel like like what's kind of going on?
Oh, Ty, if I knew what's going on, I want to be a teacher in Baltimore City public schools. I don't think you'd be doing what you're doing or what we're doing at this point. We'd be somewhere else. So okay, I'm gonna go a little. No, I'm not gonna go a little fictional here. I've been watching Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. Good show, by the way. That's my recommendation for the week. You're welcome. You're getting it early. And what's very interesting to me is what the government does. They try to look for we try to look for connection patterns at certain places. And the newest episode's talking about Venezuela. They have a lot of. They actually have It's true. It's true. That's what they say. He does teach you some things. They have the most minerals and oil in all the world. Is in Venezuela. So it's like so everybody's focused on like that attention, where all the attention is going to, where you're seeing maybe hostility or some kind of uneasiness happening in certain parts of the world. That might be it. Or they could be prepping for, we talked about conspiracy theories, right? In the previous episode, they could be prepped for some kind of extraterrestrial attack. I don't know. But we don't know like you said, Ty, and we don't probably know the fine lines, but we could probably, maybe in a future episode, break that down a little bit. Maybe we could find some information where this money actually goes to, because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money going somewhere that it's very ambiguous. Is it going to the Pentagon again? Because Pentagon spends trillions of dollars a year and they're not audited. So yeah, that's also another thing that I think is very fascinating. But that's
Yeah,
going down a rabbit hole, which we could have a whole episode about.
yeah. No, it's funny you brought up the extraterrestrials because like I forgot who it was, but I saw someone say like the next war will be fought like in space, and it will be fought, amongst extraterrestrials. So I don't know. Who the heck knows what's going on? He had that whole space force his first term, and I don't really know what really became out of that, but maybe that's what it is, and they're just not ever gonna tell us. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's strange how, like you said, money goes missing, and don't we'll never find out what things are. Um, but yeah, what you got for us next, man?
We can go anywhere with this one because it's a fun little game we're gonna play. So the game we're gonna play now is funny because I've mentioned game. This is where it's gonna go. I'm gonna set you up for something. So Trump wants to get rid of Google. He wants to because Google has a monopoly right now. People don't realize that they do. Google Chrome, Google Classroom, Google Docs, Google Slides. They have a conglomerate of just Google services that they're trying to get rid of. So because it's all digital, so easy access on Microsoft. We have to download the product. It's actually in a browser. It's in your data. So that's something that's monopolized, and he wants to break it up. And Biden was trying to do it too. So it's a continuation of breaking monopolies up. So my question is, and what I'm kind of considering is, what other monopolies should be broken up? Like any kind of corporations or businesses or any kind of entities you think should be broken up and a little spaced out a little bit, make it more even and fair for the people of the world.
Man, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It's funny because I've always said like two things that we call things by the brand and not what they actually are. So one thing, just this everyday life things, right? Like, one thing is Q-tip. So a Q-tip isn't actually the thing itself; it's the brand Q-tip, but people always call it Q-tip. So that's technically something that has monopoly. Because why would anyone want to get another brand when they see Q-tip? You could buy like the Walmart brand or whatever, but Q-tip is Q-tip, right? It's the cotton swab, whatever. And then another thing that I see is Band Aid. So Band Aid again is not the thing itself; it's the brand. So Band Aid is a brand that sells. Well, I don't even know what the heck you would call them. Adhesive bandages, I guess. Um, but again, you always go for the Band Aid, right? So those are two things in life that I've always just thought about. That I thought was just kind of funny that we call things by what they are, but by the brand, not what they are. Other than that, I would have to think of like more bigger things. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. And I saw that question that you had on there. I was really trying to brainstorm, but do you have any companies or any ideas like that?
Actually, I do. I do. And all of us pay it. All of us pay it at the end of the month. So we could all guess what that is. It's not rent. It could be rent. It's called utilities. Utilities, my friend, are monopoly because PG&E is only here. You have whatever you have up there. It's only it was only one person you could talk to. That's gonna fix it for you. So I wonder if they have a conglomerate like they all work together. Kumbaya. All these utility companies, one whole company, because that's what I'm considering. Because I just think like you don't have an option for utilities. Like this is it. This is all you got. You gotta choose this. You gotta pay the bill. You gotta foot it. That's it. This is your payment for the day. So I don't know if you ever thought about that, but that's a monopoly.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I've always like it's something I've been discussing the past couple of days too with people. Is I feel like also like HOAs now are just everywhere. Like I feel like as you and I were growing up, we didn't hear much about it. Obviously, my mom has lived in one, but um, you wouldn't really hear about it. Now it feels like even if you're just like a regular neighborhood, somehow you're in the HOA, and I feel like that has grown for some reason. But another thing, as you were saying that, another thing that popped into my head is um, all of like your dollar stores. All of your dollar stores are owned by one person. So like your Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, they're all by one company. They just want it to seem kind of different, so they could price things just a little bit differently or whatever the case is. But yeah, it's that's actually another monopoly I just thought about off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of a fascinating topic and conversation we could have, which actually leads into another question. These questions kind of like just build onto each other, which I kind of love. And you kind of wanted what you want to know with Band-Aid and Q-tip, which I think was interesting questions. Like I shout out Erica for this. She actually mentioned this to me. I'm like, is it mentioned with Tesla? Like she thinks about people with Teslas as people who are supporting the person that designed Tesla. So my question is, I think it's a great question because it really makes you think a lot. should a brand you own represent you, or is there something more to that brand? So there's a brand you like buy, like Nike, you buy some like Warby Parker, you buy like a Citizens watch, like all this stuff. Do they represent you, and do you represent that company?
No, it's a definitely good question, and it's something I was thinking about as we were having our Palestine Israel conversation. Is that they want you to boycott certain places or what or companies or whatever just for um, that support Israel. It just bro, it gets to be too much, right? Like in our everyday lives, like we're so busy, everyone's so busy, everybody works, whether you have a family or you do things on the side, like you do your improv and whatnot. We do when we do this podcast and whatnot. It just gets so involved and so like crazy to follow and keep up with. Well, you're not supposed to go to Starbucks because they support Israel, and you're not supposed to go to McDonald's because they don't believe in diversity. I don't know about the McDonald's one. I'm just throwing it out there, but I know about like the Starbucks in Israel one. But you're not supposed to, again, you're not supposed to shop certain where or eat somewhere because they don't believe in a diversity hiring and stuff like that. They ended all their programs and whatnot. It's like it just gets to be so much that if you're like a single mom or something, like you don't have time to look at that, like you're running around with your kids with sports after school activities, and you just have to stop at a McDonald's real quick. Like they shouldn't be worried, like sitting there worrying like, am I doing the right thing for human life? You know what I mean? Like, oh man, like I'm supporting someone who doesn't support this. um so I think in what you can do, I think it is good to kind of align yourself with companies that do kind of send the messages that you align with, and do stand for the same type of things. But when it comes to like everyday life, man, it just gets to be a lot. I think, like, yeah, like, and that's the thing too is there's not enough people to boycott certain things to really make an impact, and I think that like this encourages other people from doing it as well because they think one is not good enough, but it is. Like if you start and then someone else starts and then someone else starts, it could become a group thing. But I think sometimes people get discouraged because they're like, well, other people's doing it, so whatever. But yeah, do you think like following like the boycotting and everything, and do you think that's like too involved, or even just your original question, like how do you feel about it?
Yeah, that's a good proposition. A great proposition tonight about like, are we doing something because we are trying to go against what they are doing, even if it's a political sense, business sense, or any kind of sense involved in that? Yes or no. I guess it's the kind of yes or no kind of thing. But for me personally, I just believe that you represent yourself. The brand doesn't represent you, so it's best to represent who you are. I think it's the best way to go about things. So that's my own personal take on branding and brands.
Yeah, because there are certain things like I know you've seen me wear like my Mind Over Matter shirt, and it's like, well, that brand it represents like mental health community and stuff like that. There are things you can do outside of the bigger scope of things that represent who you are and what you support and what that company supports. But like you said, you kind of are your own brand. Like I wear a lot of athletic wear, so like my like Nike and stuff, and that doesn't go like that doesn't go to say like I believe everything Nike believes in per se. It's just that I'm a person who kind of dresses more comfortably versus more like fancy and whatnot, and that's just who I am. I'm like more of a sportier person. So yeah, I think you kind of are your brand in a way. What topic you got for us next, man? I love these questions. Honestly, they're fun.
Yeah, I kind of like the framing of this. So if you have questions you want us to talk about and answer, feel free to, because open discussion is like kind of my favorite discussion and way for us to build and learn together. Um, I think it's a question that I didn't have written here, but I think it's an important question. I think especially now the weather's getting warmer, starting to get daylight savings time. Um, and for me personally, I was like doing this as well. How is it important for you to go out in nature? Like, is that really important for us as people? For me personally, I would say yes, because I get rejuvenated. I become more relaxed, more calm. When I was taking a walk with Erica, my girlfriend, over the weekend, I de-stressed, I calmed down, I was really in the moment. So I think like the weather changing definitely does involve your overall sensibility. So yeah, I want to kind of get your take on that, like nature. Should all of us like take the time just to go out there and get out there, just walk?
Yeah, I think especially for us in the Northeast, the past week and a half or two, the weather has been getting really nice over here, starting to warm up and whatnot. So I've noticed an uptick just in my mental health since it's become warmer. Just being able to, like you said, take walks, or when I have to go to the grocery store or something like that, just being able to uh, crack open my window and having the fresh air come on in, and just enjoying the warm weather, playing some good music, and having that feeling again. Um, just it just doesn't feel anything like it, and it's funny because it probably won't feel this good again, right? Like you always appreciate it the most when it's the first time. Like it's been so cold, right? And now it's warm, so you're really appreciating that time. So yeah, and then again it stays lighter later, so I feel like that's a whole nother thing. Like when I go pick up Haiti from work, it's still light out versus before. Like I had my headlights on, it's dark, it's cold. We just want to get back home, get in the house, and bundle up and watch movies or something. But now take our time. It's still light out. Enjoy, like I said, having the windows open, riding around. Just getting, like, even the other day, like I was doing dishes and I had the my screen door open, and it just letting the sun come through, the blinds fully open, and the fresh air coming on in was just like it was honestly like a perfect moment, honestly. But yeah, do you feel like your mental health is like better during these times, or?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think just having being lighter out earlier and not earlier, but later on in the day helps out dramatically. I like darker out actually later in the day. I think it's great just to be in silence and being calm, being quiet, and just like feel into yourself in the morning. I think is great. It's like getting that little push in, get that little push, like work in the darkness. Not be Batman, don't work in the darkness like that, but work in darkness like think about yourself a little bit. Like, take care of you. And then when the light comes out, ready to socialize, ready to be out there, ready to have a good day, and just be active. So yeah, I noticed my mood gets a lot better because I'm definitely more of a summer person. America reminds me of heat time. It's like 60s and 70s. I like 70s and above personally. I could be up to 97 degrees. I'll be great.
No, I'm definitely with her. Me and my friends, my friend came up one day and it was just like, man, this is the perfect weather. And I think we looked at the temperature and it was like 73. And I'm like, this is just like perfect. It's not hot. It's not too cold. It's just nice little breeze. And I don't know. I get almost like too hot during summers and stuff. So I'm more of like a spring fall type of person, just because like those are like comfortable temperatures to me. Um, yeah, but yeah, I think I don't know, man. It tends to be too extreme sometimes when it comes to the heat, which is funny because I would love to be in Florida one day, living there full time one day. So, but we know how that goes in the summer. That shit gets hot, bro. It's like 100 plus with the humidity. But yeah, I like my 60s and 70 degrees type of days. Another thing though, it kind of has something to do with it. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Is there is supposed to be a lunar eclipse um, on I
Blood
believe
moon
when is it?
Friday. It's called blood
Friday.
moon on this Friday.
Okay.
Moon. Some people
Um,
acting crazy.
yeah, I know it's supposed to be visible at 2:55 a.m. on Friday morning. So for the late night folks, head outside and try to catch that. I think that'll be kind of
Oh
cool
yeah.
to see. It's kind of interesting the science behind it. I just saw a video on it. So basically, the sun is going to be in one position, the Earth is going to be in another, and the moon is going to be in another. They're lining up, but the Earth is in between, so it's going to kind of block out the light from both. And what happens is all of the rays from the sun miss the moon except for the red rays. They like bend around Earth
Mm,
and they hit the moon. Um,
so cool.
yeah, so that's why that happens. But I don't know. Maybe I could try to set something up where I could record it because I don't know if I'll be. I doubt I'll be up at that time. Um, but yeah, that'd be cool to see for people who are night owls. I mean, I'm a night owl, but I've been trying to fix that for a little while. um, but yeah, man. What else? What else you want to talk about today?
Yeah, we can talk about a little bit some WWE a little bit. Um,
Yeah, we always gotta get our
Not many
fix.
developments. Got to fix, yeah. So there were some developments happening in this past Raw that I think were entertaining, and future Raw that's about to come up this upcoming Monday that I've been waiting for a while, ever since Elimination Chamber ended. Waiting for this moment to come back on St. Patty's Day. Hope we get lucky with something great and grand.
Yeah,
EKA. But yeah, fill us in what happened on Monday that
sure.
took
So
your boots.
it's kind of interesting because I expected a little bit more for MSG show. Um, man, I was just sitting there. I'm like, man, this shit's kind of boring this week. Like, they announced, Cody was gonna have a segment, and I'm like, oh, maybe Rock comes out or something.
Mm.
But it just felt flat. Like the show in general. Up until, of course, the cage match which was a fantastic match once again. Um, but within that, I like the way they did it because I don't think either man should have really been pinned or should have lost clean. Um, so having Roman come out there and end that match again not clean and just set up the build for Mania with that triple threat. It was cool. It was cool that he was back. That he made a sneaky entrance through the crowd. Like it's not like his music played or anything like that. And then just wrecked everyone. But I think for me, the interesting part in this all is that Paul Heyman was in the cage checking on CM Punk. And you saw Roman notice that, and he was like, well, what the heck is this? And then he entered the ring and destroyed Punk as well. While Paul was like, "Oh my God," but he still ultimately stayed with Roman in that moment. But it's an interesting seeds being planted there for the eventual solo type of feud that Punk and Roman are going to have. What do you think of the main event and Roman's interference there?
It was great. Yeah, it was great. It reminded me back to Attitude Era, Roots of the Aggression Era days, where it was like very unpredictable. The pop was happening. It was a good moment. The story was telling in the cage. The cage was always the story in the match. So I really liked that match. It was a great way they kind of did with Roman. Roman finally is babyface. He's finally a very good babyface, and fans are really loving it for once. It's been good to see his revelation into his character and him finding his way here again in a roundabout way. And yeah, it's just bittersweet, good storylines. Looking forward to the triple threat that will happen between them at WrestleMania now.
Yeah. And so something I want to throw out there for people is that Cena is advertised for, I believe it's the next three Raws. But the interesting thing with that is they're all in Europe. So the next three Raws are in Belgium, Scotland, and in England. Um, but because of the Netflix, we'll be able to watch those shows as they happen. We no longer have to wait till 8 o'clock to watch the tapings of those shows. So for Netflix subscribers, 3 p.m. Eastern for March 17th Raw. March 24th will be 4 p.m. Eastern, and March 31st will be 3 p.m. Eastern once again. So you can actually watch those as they happen on Netflix at those times, which is really cool because, like I said in the past, whenever they've done the Europe tours, it's always been live tapings of the show, and then you'll get all of the spoilers, all of the results before the show even happens. So you're like, you don't even watch the show. So I think it'll be cool that they actually do this live. It does suck, for people that are still working at those times and whatnot, but make it do a little sneak. Could just have a little your phone hanging out somewhere and try to sneak that and see what Cena has to say. I think that would be the most interesting parts of those shows is what's gonna happen with that. But yeah, man. What else? Do you have any more recommendations or anything you're looking forward to?
Any recommendations? My Jack Ryan from John Clancy's on Prime recommended. I recommend that highly. I just started to get into it. I know it's been out for quite a while. Been out since 2018. Really good show. Really good action. I like Jim as the action hero of this one. He's great. He has Jim moments where he just stares sometimes at the camera. Like, is that Jim or is that Jack Ryan? Who are you? Who are you really? Um, so yeah, and I'm looking forward to honestly this coming week is I'm going over to my girlfriend's house, Erica, with her family. We're gonna have some St. Patty's Day dinner on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to going to a pub, and the pub is owned by an Irish guy. He has an Irish accent. He's Irish. I'm like, I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be
Yes.
fun then.
Give me some bangers and mash, some corned beef and hash, and let's have a good old bash. So let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I
What
can't
do you,
say I've ever
what do you
had
look for?
like Irish food or anything like that.
It's good. It's pretty basic.
Yeah, yeah. So what am I looking forward to, man? I don't even know. I'm kind of looking forward to just relaxing. Like I said, we've had a hell of a week or two where it's just like we haven't even been able to like sit down and just relax and have some time to ourselves. So she Haiti had like cookie orders, and then we came back and we've had company over for the past couple of days, and it's just been it's just been crazy over here. And then I've been in talks with a new company for a new job. Um, been in talks with different venues for our wedding. We actually visited one. So maybe that's something I'm looking forward to. We want to do another visit to another venue this weekend. Let's see if we can make that work. But yeah, man, it's a lot because even with this new job, it's like we would have to move back to Jersey. So even just planning for that is a lot. So yeah, so I guess what I'm looking forward to is just taking it easy, just having a chill weekend. Hopefully the weather's nice. I could just like sit outside or take a walk or something and just enjoy that part of it. But yeah, I think that does it for us. You want to tell the people what to do, what they should do after this?
Yeah, I want you to, comment, like, subscribe. Definitely send any of your questions in the comment section in YouTube. We're on Spotify, TikTok, and Instagram. So make sure you follow us all on those social media platforms. We're looking forward to bringing content mostly every week or every other week. So we're just trying to make it work. We have the topics and have the conversation flow. So any other last words there, Ty?
Yeah, no, I think you covered it. Just keep just keep listening to us. I feel like we are putting out some good stuff and some stuff you guys can enjoy and stuff you can be involved in as well. Um, yeah, I'm just looking forward to the just us continuing doing this and growing and learning and whatnot. We were playing around with a whole bunch of stuff before the show, so we might have something new as far as that goes. But yeah, so it's just a lot of exciting stuff going on. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Again, like you said, subscribe, like it, turn on the bell for notifications, and we'll see you in episode 7.